Hey, what's up, guys? My name is Cameron Smith. Welcome to Rising Up, where we bring people in a Rise community in front of you to tell their stories of success and how they're taking themselves and their business to the next level. Super excited for today's guest. He is a sales manager out of Atlanta, Georgia, but now he's taking his role to the next level of responsibility and ownership. Hint, hint. And we are super excited for him and his continued path of growth from the time he first started to where he is right now, breaking through those mental barriers in order for him to achieve incredible record breaking success in their company. So get ready for today's interview with David Blake. All right. Hey, David, thanks so much for taking the time to be able to hop on with me today, man. I really appreciate it. I know this is going to be very valuable for a lot of people. So thank you again for agreeing to do the interview with me today, man.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Of course. So, hey, let's just kind of dive right into it right now. We'll kind of talk about the position of life that you're in right now, the kind of transitional period that you're in an exciting way. But let's kind of like track it all the way back to the beginning, man. When you started martial arts, what kind of drew you to martial arts? And then I guess the next part of that is, I think there was a time where you kind of took a break and then you came back and then you stepped into the sales manager role there in Atlanta at the Premier School with Michael Reed. So let's talk about, what kind of prompted you to get back into the martial arts industry. So back to the first part, what got you started in the first place, and then what brought you back to it to now making it your profession?
Great question. Couple of things that got me started into martial arts. First thing I believe was my mom took me to see a fight. It was the Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, their first fight.
Okay.
And just seeing Sugar Ray in action, I said, I want to be Sugar Ray one day.
Haha.
So my dad bought me a pair of boxing gloves, believe it or not. Once I got these boxing gloves, it was like the happiest day of my life. I would
Yeah.
literally take my boxing gloves everywhere I went, Cam. If I went to go visit a relative, I took them to my relative's house. All right. I would go down the street and box whoever wanted to box with me. So I'd do the old bolo this and boom with the jab. I was bouncing around like I was Sugar Ray Leonard. My mom put me into a karate class. Single parent. I grew up in a single parent household, busy mom. So she put me into a karate class at the local YMCA.
Yeah,
And so my day was filled with activities. Went from school to the YMCA activities, went to swimming. After swimming, went to karate.
man.
All right. And repeat the next day. But
Yeah.
I loved it. I love karate and I always loved sparring. That was the best part of, doing karate. It was a taekwondo school. So we had, the Korean up there, the old sensei, Um, it was very formatted. There was a lot of katas and forms, but my part was like, hey, when we gonna get to spar?
Yeah.
So that what got me into it. That what drew my love for martial arts. My dad was a martial artist. So when I went to go visit him, he would show me some things. One thing that I remember very well is we had bowling pins from when we was a child, the little plastic bowling pins. He
Yeah.
would hang them from the ceiling and make them punching bags. And so we'd be out there punching. And so those two things helped grew my love for martial arts. And
Yeah.
so unfortunately I did taekwondo at the YMCA, but I quit. And
Mm-hmm.
all my friends were doing baseball. And so I went to do baseball. And plus, like, it didn't have that fun environment except the sparring. It was
Yeah.
very routine, structured.
Yeah.
Um, you had all the discipline, but it still wasn't that fun environment that you get from Premier Martial Arts. As far as the kids are having fun, it's not real structured as far as, hey, you're doing these katas. If you're not doing the katas, you're watching the senior red belts and black belts do their katas, and you're just be sitting down. So
Yeah.
it didn't really have that exciting element. So I thought all the excitement was baseball. So I went to baseball. I did baseball. Then I did basketball. It wasn't until I got to high school that I got into wrestling. So I'm
Okay.
like, okay, this kind of reminds me of karate, just trying to figure out different moves and
Uh,
everything. So that kind of reminded me of karate. So I like that. There's more contact than I got from football because it's real like one on one. You know what I'm saying? I'm in it all the time. So once I got graduated high school, I went to college at Howard University in DC, and I took up karate there. I'm like, okay, I'm back into it. I like this. Once I graduated, I moved to Atlanta. Fast forward through life, I ended up having a son. My son was kind of like me growing up, shy, quiet,
Yeah.
very intelligent. And I'm like, this kid gonna need to learn how to defend themselves because he doesn't talk much.
Yeah.
So I was looking for schools all over the Marietta area. I couldn't find one. I
Mm.
finally said, all right, let me go home and start looking on the webpage. I seen Shaolin Kung Fu, Michael Reed, former Atlanta football player. I'm like, sounds like the
That's
school.
interesting. Yeah.
I said, all right, son, it's Saturday, let's go. Went to the school. Master Reed was on the floor teaching everybody. I'm like, all right, son, go in and hop in. He immediately jumped in. He was having a great time. I interviewed some of the parents because Master Reed was a one school, one owner. He ran
Yeah.
the school and taught. He did everything, no staff. So I was talking to the parent. I'm like, you like the school? He's like, yeah. And so, the parents started giving me a bunch of feedback. I'm like, all right, this might be the place. So I literally signed my son up that day. I came back the next day. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna sign up too. I'm
Hey,
like,
there we
we're gonna
go.
go on this journey together. This will be some good father-son bonding.
Yeah.
And so, 11 years later, I'm here, working as the program director.
Let's go, man. And not a lot of experience in the sales role, and then you stepped into the program director role, and obviously you've had a lot of success there. I remember even some of the calls that me and you have done together. You're calling me on the phone like, "Hey, man, help me out with this deal. Like, how are we gonna
Yeah,
make this happen? How are we gonna pull through?" But what I always like about working with you is if I would give you advice or I'd give you feedback or give you a tip on something, you immediately took action on it. You don't hesitate. You don't
absolutely.
wait. You actually go make it happen, and you got the results
Yeah.
because of that as well. And that leads to a lot of success that you guys have been able to have there in your studio. So let's talk about just one of the major successes for you that you've had so far in your career. Like, what's kind of one of those pinnacle moments, those pinnacle points for you that really sticks out? That's like, man, like that was a win.
Um, what really stuck out is the time you called me when we joined Rise, and you're like, "Oh, you gotta make $6,000." Like, I do. Like, yeah, you got to make it in 2 days. Like, all right, well, give me the game plan, and you
Yeah.
gave me that
I
game
think
plan.
that might have been one of the first times that we actually like really had a conversation too.
It is. And so you gave me that game plan, and I literally made 2 phone calls, and I was able to close a deal.
Yeah.
And here we are with Rise. So I think that just letting me know that anything is possible. That was one of our biggest months that we ever done. I think we did like maybe 40, 60,000 that month. I think
Mm,
about 60,000 that month. And that's like one of our biggest months ever. And so it helped me get over the hurdle that we only could do only 30,000. Because that's
yeah.
all we were doing was like 30,000, 30,000. And that month we did like close to 60. And I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, so we can do this amount of money. You just
Yeah.
have to have the right people in your corner, the right game plan, and execute.
Yeah.
So I
That
think that was one of the biggest successes.
I think that mindset thing is a real thing. Like that's a massive challenge that a lot of people have to overcome in order for them to start getting the results. And like the challenge are going to be different at different levels of life and at different levels in your career too. Like, 10 years from now, you're not going to deal with the same challenges that you're dealing with right now. There'll be elevated versions of that. But the mindset that you have to develop, be able to overcome those, that's a huge thing. And like you said, like you had the mindset that, man, like we can only do 30, we can only do 30. And then you have that breakthrough and it's like, wow, actually, we're capable of more. Like I know this month, and you don't have to say the number right now, but I know this month, like you guys are hitting another record month, right? And it's
Yeah,
something
it
that
is.
you probably didn't think you could hit at one point, but once you do it, you realize it's possible. What would you say is a challenge that you've had to personally overcome in order for you to get steps closer to where it is you ultimately want to be? Like, what was a challenge for you that you really had to work on?
Uh, well, I have one big challenge. So before I started working with Master Reed at the school that I'm at, um, so I've been telling Master Reed, maybe 1 year in, as far as being a student with Master Reed, 1 or 2 years in, I gave him a call one day, and I was like, you know what, I'm 30 something, and I finally know what my goal in life is. And he was like, what? I'd like to teach martial arts, just like you have my own school. And he was like, well, you're gonna need some business knowledge behind that. So he took me to a symposium where I heard Barry and Miles speak with the Premier brand at that time. And so after that, I continued to work with them, and he just didn't have a spot for me. I was working at another company, Waffle House, mass restaurant manager, working 24 hours. a 24-hour business. I hated my life. I hated my job. I hated everything. I hate the employees, customers, all down the line. But I couldn't punch them. I couldn't kick them. And that's one of the other reasons what brought me to Premier is I was able to take out my frustrations on the bag. But
Yeah.
he didn't have a spot to hire me. So I asked for his blessings to go to another Premier Martial Arts school to work. And so I was working at the East Marietta School. I worked there for about a year. All right. I was all set. I was about to take my Premier International Black Belt test. I was super pumped up. I was
Yeah.
program director over 2 schools. I'm like, all right, I'm about to fulfill one of my goals and
Yeah.
get in
You're
my
like, I'm the man.
first
Come on.
degree black belt test. All right, and pass the test and get my belt. I go into the office one day and he was like, "You're fired." I was fired, Cam. And so that was so heartbreaking. That was probably not the lowest, but close to the lowest part of my life. It was getting fired. I'm like, this is my dream job. This is my dream career. What I'm going to do, I'm supposed to take the test in 3 months. What am I going to do? So I called the great Rise leader, Mr. Aaron Hensley. I'm like, help. I need help. Aaron, hire me. He didn't have a spot to hire, but it's amazing how the universe works, God, whatever you want to say. Aaron Hensley at the time was giving Michael Reed advice, and he was like, "Hey, you need to hire a program director."
Yeah.
And what you know, he called me because at the time he was like, "I don't have a spot for you, David. I still don't have a spot." But once Aaron told him to hire a program director, he hired me. I came back and able to take the school to a level where it wasn't where it never been before. When I got here, they was only making like 16, 20,000 a month. They hired me. They started making 30, 33,000 a month. So I think just coming back from
Now,
all of that,
now you're
then
doing double that. Now you're doing double that.
yeah, then I went to take my test, got my international black belt, right? And now we're still working. I'm still able to work with Aaron Hensley, who I always wanted to work with up under the Rise banner, being with Marietta PMA. So, everything came full circle for me.
Yeah, and let's kind of talk about this a little bit now. Now that we're kind of like at this point, 5 years ago when you got to have that conversation with Michael, actually sitting right there in the office that you're in right
Yeah.
now, what did you tell him at that time?
So, in order to work with Premier Martial Art, you have to do an entrance interview. And one of the questions in that interview, because he was holding the camera and he was asking me the questions, is where do you want to be in 5 years with Premier Martial Arts? And my answer immediately was, I want to own my own Premier Martial Arts school. I said that in 2020 here in this office. I didn't think it would be this school,
Yeah.
but hey,
But now you're in the position where literally we're about to flip the script into year 5,
yeah,
and you're working through the transition literally right now to
yep.
actually take over ownership in that location. Like I know that's got to be a surreal feeling.
Absolutely, absolutely. Just coming full circle. I was with Master Reed before we was even part of the Premier Martial Arts franchise, and
Yeah.
just being in this office, knowing that I did my entrance interview here, and getting hired by him at the school, it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
I started out as a student here. All my children started out as students here at Premier Martial Arts, so it's a great feeling. Especially next year to see my daughter walk across the stage with her black belt
That's
at the
incredible.
school that her father now is over.
I
So
love it. I love that full circle moment there, right there, man. Like that,
yeah,
that's inspiring, for sure. Well, hey David, let's kind of get to the last couple things here because
okay,
if I don't cap us, we can go on and on and on and on. So
absolutely,
let me
absolutely.
ask you this, when you hear rise, like what does rise mean to you? How would you personally define that in your own words?
Rise to me is just taking everything up to the next level, right? Which pretty much what we did. You helped me do that. I was at one level of in my mind as 30,000. We can't do no more. I told Master Reed, we can't do no more than
Yeah.
30,000. This is what we're gonna do. I don't see no way until we got with you, Aaron Hensley, and you just gave us the knowledge and the skills to act and execute on how to take the brand, how to take our business further.
Yeah.
Um, One thing that you guys always say is the best train the most.
That's right.
And there's always a lot of training as far as knowledge that you guys give, and it's actual training on how to be a better instructor on the floor, training how to be a better salesperson in the office. And I think all of that just kind of summarize Rise to me.
Yeah, I love that, man.
Just
The best do train the most, and you put in a lot of training, you put in a lot of work, and it's showing through the results that you're getting right now. And the fact that you're taking that next level of getting to go into ownership and be able to experience that and have more of an impact in your school and your community, like that's incredible right there. And I'm cheering for you. I'm a cheerleader for you, man. Like I can't wait to see you take that school, grow it to the next level, see your daughter walk across the stage, earning her black belt, and so many more kids to be able to
yeah,
follow along in those footsteps as well because of the determination, the push that you and the rest of the team there have. So I want to thank you again for, doing this interview with me. I know it's going to bring a lot of value to a lot of people. Can't wait to see you continue to rise up and have more success. And just thanks for doing this, man. I can't say thank you enough. Thank you.
thank you. It's my
Awesome.
honor.
All right, see you guys.
All right, peace.